we want to bring in Rebecca Jane, a deputy leader of UKIP. Good morning, Rebecca.
Rebecca, I don't know if you saw what... Good morning to you. I don't know if you saw what Ben Habib had to say to us yesterday, but this is what we asked him. Let's ask about Reform UK. Bright new party. You're going to fight every seat, virtually every seat at the next general election, 630. Will that obliterate UKIP, or will it obliterate the Tories, or both?
Well, UKIP is sadly a shadow of its former self. Yeah, and but my aim, and I'm absolutely unequivocal about it, and Richard and Nigel are on board for this, is to obliterate the Tory party. Right. There will be no surrender, there will be no deals, there will be no standing down in seats.
So, what do you make to that then, Rebecca? He said they're going to obliterate you. Some people might think you've been obliterated already.
Well, he said that he was going to obliterate the Conservatives, which that's absolutely fine. They can believe that. It's a shame, really, because I really like Ben. And actually, the best thing that could happen to Reform is if Richard Tice steps down and Ben Habib becomes their leader. We're actually very friendly with Ben, which is kind of why he swerved your question there. So, unfortunately, in my opinion, Reform are a one-man ego trip, and that is Richard Tice. We've tried to unite centre-right parties. We are still very much doing that. So we've gone about this the proper way instead of just doing a bit of a press conference and declaring that we're going to obliterate everybody. We've actually got a plan in with the Electoral Commission, and we've actually been still continuing talks, and we have some smaller parties that are ready to amalgamate and actually have this unison. Reform refused to do that because of Richard Tice and his ego and his power trip. And I'll say it again, this is only in my opinion. I could never, in good conscience, fold UKIP into Reform because of Richard Tice's stance on mandatory vaccinations, the fact that he said that Brexit was done, and various other things, obviously, that Richard Tice has said. I can't do it. And the biggest reason why I also can't do it, and bless Ben, I like his optimism, but if there's one thing that I absolutely do not believe, it is that they are not in some kind of pact with the Conservatives. In 2019, they stood over 300 seats down with a pact with the Conservatives, and I absolutely believe they will do it again, and I think that Ben has been hoodwinked by Richard Tice.
I don't think they will, Rebecca, to be completely honest. I think Reform is in a very different place from when some of its members were in the Brexit Party. And Ben said yesterday there will be no deals, there will be no pact. They are a very kind of well-organised and a well-oiled machine. Do I sense a sense of disappointment from you, though, that even though you have, personal issues with Richard Tice, that you wish that UKIP could have collaborated with Reform in a positive way?
Yeah, I mean, I think that for the good of the people, that we absolutely should have had the conversation, and Richard Tice is the person who stopped that. Every other party agreed to do that, and so for my opinion, why on earth would you not do it? Because for us all to come together under this one umbrella and to form a complete coalition, why on earth would we not try and do that? It's because Richard Tice believes that they can completely do it on their own, and I respect you a lot, Bev, but unfortunately, behind the scenes, they're not quite as well oiled as what you believe, which is why no other party has agreed to fold themselves into Reform either.
They've attracted Anne Widdecombe's joined the ranks, Ben Habib's joined the ranks. He's an impressive figure. She's a hugely impressive figure in my view. Doesn't that change your view a little on how electorally appealing they may be next time?
Well, they could potentially be electorally appealing. However, there's only one person who's actually agreed to stand for them, and that's Ben. So actually, I think that you need to wait and see what actually happens with it. But I think that Anne and Ben are great. It has given me some hope, I can't lie. But my biggest hope is that Richard stands down and Ben becomes their leader, because he'd be a fantastic leader. He's on the right side of this. Everything he says is completely correct. So I do have some hope, because Anne and Ben are absolutely brilliant. But obviously there's quite a way to go, and with their history and the things that they've done in the past, I can't trust that.
Rebecca, first, two questions really that I want to ask you. First of all, why do you think Richard Tice doesn't want to collaborate with UKIP? What is the baggage that he thinks the party brings to it? And if he was to come to you directly and say, I don't want the UKIP association, but I want you, Rebecca Jane, because we all want more strong-minded women in politics. Come along, jump the fence and come and join me.
Bless you. I've been made that offer by other parties, and I've absolutely said no, because I'm loyal and I'm transparent and I'm straight up and honest. Everything that UKIP stand for is me. So that's the first thing that he would say. I would absolutely still have the conversation. I've had a conversation with Ben this week to say that I would still talk to Richard, but I've got some serious issues, especially around the whole what happened with obviously the vaccine situation. I struggle to really put that aside. Sorry, Bev, what was your other question? The baggage of UKIP. So
Yeah.
let me address that one for you. So it's not quite like that. So they've refused to collaborate with anybody, not just UKIP. They haven't directly said. There was one email where Isabel, Richard's partner, said that we were too about immigration, and obviously that she deemed that to be racist, and that's why they wouldn't talk to us. But that's quite some time ago, and obviously they're changing their tune now on immigration, so who knows?
Reform UK say they're going to put up 630 candidates, Rebecca, at the next general election. Are UKIP in a position to put up any candidates at all?
Yeah, we are actually, thank goodness. So we are, however, I'm not going to announce anything that I can't absolutely stand by. Whether they will stand by that 600, we will see in time. I can't stand by 600 right now at all, because we have this plan that's with the Electoral Commission, and obviously we are trying to unite with other centre-right parties, and it's going well. Once that's under control, then I will commit to a figure. But until then, I won't say something that's not going to be true.
Who are the top tier of UKIP now, Rebecca?
Well, obviously, there's myself, obviously, and then there is Neil Hamilton, who is absolutely phenomenal. I absolutely adore Neil. And then we've got our chairman, and then we've got a board of elected members. So I wouldn't like to put other people's names to it right now. I think it's for them to do that for themselves. But the UKIP board has definitely reformed over the last year. It's quite exciting. It's very diverse, and it's actually a lot younger than what people expect now.
All right, thank you so much, Rebecca Jane, there, Deputy Leader of UKIP.